Jay, the NCAA is creating more advice or offering more structure maybe, or more guidance, or not so much guidance on NIL and the future of rev sharing at the collegiate level. We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. We got a lot of changes happening in college football. One of them, significant news out today. This is from Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. Significant news out today from the U.S. Department of Education, which classifies future revenue distributions from a school to an athlete for his or her NIL rights as financial assistance. That's one part here, which must be made proportionately available to male and female athletes or risk violating Title IX. Jay, break this down for the people.
All right. So for the uninitiated, those that don't, I've read through a lot of the comments and man, it's bad. A lot of people don't understand truly how Title IX works. So quick crash course on it. Title IX allows, make sure that the opportunity that's provided to male athletes are also allowed to female athletes. And the perfect example of how Title IX is not as proportional as you would like it to be, but it is available, is look at football compared to every other sport. Football has more scholarships than all female sports combined. And it's mainly because football requires more athletes. But the opportunities there, that's why some schools, you don't see soccer there, but you see women's soccer. Right? You'll see that because that's a way to make it proportionate because they can find additional sports, or volleyball. You'll see women's volleyball, but no men's volleyball because, and depending on where you're at, you'll see men's, but you don't see men's in a lot of places because you're making those numbers proportionate and available. So with this, what this is really telling us, John, is that what Oklahoma would have to do if they decided that they wanted John Mateer to be in commercials for the school and they want to compensate him for that, or if they decide that Peyton Bowen's going to be the face of the defense, him and Kip Lewis, and they want to put them in advertisements, billboards, things of that nature, that opportunity also needs to be afforded to a female athlete. You know, you can have, you have Beers up there. You have her up there. You have Beers, Fears, and Mateers all together, and we put Cheers right underneath it, right? Just like the TV show. So but if you do that, you have to make sure that if the school is compensating them, it has to be even. This doesn't talk about anything outside of them. These are for like private donations, even raised by booster clubs and such. But if Boost Mobile decides to do something, AT&T, Verizon, can't do nothing about that. That's right. Nothing to do with the school providing or facilitating the funding. So keep that in mind when you read that.
Yeah, if Brahms comes to Oklahoma and says, hey, we want to do a deal with your offense and defensive lines.
Please do it, Brahms.
Yeah, Brahms, if you're listening, then there doesn't have to be this equal opportunity. This is simply if the school is going to provide, and I think it'll probably play out in some of the rev share stuff as well, too. There's got to be something that's going to be going. Now, football might take up a lot of that, but you're going to see softball and women's basketball earn some as well because they do earn. But yeah, I think we'll see more clarity on all of this over the next few years as this gets implemented and programs try to figure out how to make it all work together. But as NIL starts getting and shifting in-house, those opportunities are going to be there. I mean, the softball program is going to have a lot of opportunities in the name, image, and likeness arena. Same with women's basketball. I mean, there are stars on the women's basketball team, the gymnastics team, the women's gymnastics team. There are stars out there in the women's sports arena for Oklahoma that are going to see just as many opportunities as some of the male athletes as well.
Heavy benefits because I mean, so many people are marketable. It's really, that's what NIL is about. And I think it's the only thing that I haven't liked about NIL and how it's been set up and done. It's been leveraged as a way to funnel money to players in whatever way is possible. Right. When in all actuality, the essence of it is about people marketability and doing marketing deals. I mean, I wasn't mad at Texas when they had their pancake fund and they were giving offensive linemen 50,000 initially. But I thought it was cool. It's like the barbecue joint that was giving Arkansas offensive linemen NIL deal. That's what you market for. That's the stuff you're supposed to do with this. I think it was Ohio State that had an offensive lineman that had like mountain candles or something. He like Blueberry Mountain. It was like sending candles. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you get cool creative stuff like that. That's what you expect. Then the collective piece came in and like, you know what? We're just going to start outbidding everybody. Mm-hmm. I think that part of it's going to go away because as it talks about the external factors of like booster clubs and raising private funds, that to me is going to be the thing that's going to make things really change heavily when it comes to NIL at this level. But the other thing too, John, is these are just guidelines. These aren't rules. These are just stuff that's in preparation. And we've got the new administration being put into office on Monday. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what the Senate and the House is going to try to figure out, because that's one thing I've heard a few of them pledge. They're going to fix this. It's going to be really hard to do this and not trigger a bunch of antitrust laws. That's the kind of the key thing. You've got to make sure that doesn't happen. So I think for me, the fascinating piece, John, is I want to see how they handle this cap portion. We talked about it in the last segment. How are they going to be able to handle the distribution of the funds from the amount of money that's going to be allowed from all the revenue that comes in from television? And because all of this is for media rights deals. How they're going to be able to take that money, distribute it among the sports, and then distribute it among the team. That, to me, is going to be the fascinating question, and seeing how that actually goes.
Yeah, so the GM role at Oklahoma is honestly bigger than anybody at a professional franchise, where you have one team to manage. I mean, Sam Presti, God love you, you're doing a great job with Oklahoma City, but that's one team.
Yes.
And 12 to 14 players plus, some, what do they call it now? The G League? Is that what the developmental league? You got some guys maybe in the G League that you got to worry about, and you got summer league and all that. You're not trying to manage football, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's gymnastics, baseball, softball, women's soccer, men's golf, tennis, track and field. That's a whole different animal where you're going to have a GM, and you're probably going to have a number of assistant GMs to help manage all this. So, hey, if you got a business mind and you love sports, I bet there's going to be some potential openings coming up at the University of Oklahoma to help get all this stuff underway and figure out how to best manage it, because there's going to be a lot to manage. It's going to be a lot to manage, and it's going to be way more than what the athletic director is used to with all the revenue and trying to figure out how to best facilitate all that revenue sharing and prioritize the revenue sharing. It's going to be very interesting. The athletic director might kind of turn into like the owner role, and hopefully not the Jerry Jones owner role, but the owner role that's like, hey, I'm just going to be here to help support and facilitate everything that happens in the athletic department, as opposed to like heavy-handedly telling each program and team what they have to do. Anyway, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. I know that we'll have some 30 for 30 documentaries on this down the road that we'll look back on this and talk about how crazy it is. But I'm kind of with you, man. Like, the way NIL has played out isn't what was intended.
It's not the essence of what this was supposed to be here for.
No.
And we need to get back to that. Give me back to the essence. I want to see some good commercials.
Yeah.
I want to see some cool stuff like that.
Right.
I ain't trying to see all of this this mess that we're dealing with now.
I want to see some stuff like Major League and the Amex, the American Express, credit card commercial, where Wesley Snipes is sliding into home. Don't steal home without it. Anyway.
That was a good one.
Yeah. And we are digressing here as we get ready to finish up today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel on YouTube, Unfair Sports. Follow me at John9Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Pinterest, everywhere you get your social media. Pinterest is out. It's for the ladies. The ladies will find it.
Yeah, fine.
And they'll enjoy it while they're checking.
They'll enjoy our voices. That's what's going to be important.
That's right. While they're checking out interior decor for this spring, they can also hear our latest shorts over there on Pinterest as well. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer
Sooner. Pinterest. I love it.
Got to be on everywhere. We're going to be everywhere.